As a Knicks fan, I will be the first to admit when I'm wrong, especially when it applies in a good way to a member of our beloved team, but in particular, a player who has been one of the most polarizing, enigmatic, emotional, yet talented NBA power forwards to ever play in the orange and blue. The fact of the matter remains that a complete turnaround doesn't happen. It doesn't become complete until the final buzzer of the NBA season sounds. And we have only just passed the midway mark of this NBA season. But nevertheless, what Julius Randle has done so far this season has raised eyebrows across the NBA and has also propelled the New York Knicks into a compelling, winning basketball team. Not only is Julius Randle having a phenomenal season, probably his best as a Knick, but his team is currently sitting in sixth place in the dominant Eastern Conference. They are in the top 10 for offense and defense, and Julius Randle has positioned himself to secure his second career All-Star selection. So I ask you this, are apologies in order to Julius Randle? Let's find out today, right here on Sheer Brilliance Knicks.
Victory, I just got another victory. Opposition said they sick of me. We turn their future to history. They try to hit me, they missing me. Ooh, they in the way. They getting stepped on back in the day. We who they slept on. You see my place.
Friend or foe, we want the smoke. And the smoke is exactly what we're bringing to you today, courtesy of Julius Randle. What's up, everybody? My name is Sheer. And let's talk about Julius Randle. Many Knicks fans have differing feelings about their All-Star, me being one of them. But I've come to realize my problem isn't with Julius Randle, the player. My problem has been with my expectation for our team. This has caused me to really underappreciate the talented All-Star that Julius Randle has proven himself to be and is currently proving himself to be this very season. Let me explain how we all got here. The 2014 NBA draft turned out to be a surprisingly good draft. Names such as Joel Embiid, Julius Randle, Marcus Smart, Zach LaVine, and some guy named Nikola Jokic were all selected during this draft. The number one overall pick that year was actually Andrew Wiggins. The 2014 NBA draft validates the often stated phrase, drafts can be a crapshoot, as you never know who will be successful in a league that has the best players in the world. With the number 7 overall pick, the Los Angeles Lakers selected Julius Randle from the University of Kentucky.
With the 7th pick in the 2014 NBA draft, the Los Angeles Lakers select Julius Randle from the University of Kentucky.
Julius Randle, a left-hander who led that talented young Kentucky team.
But again, when you look down at the stat sheet, he's scoring the ball, he's finishing around him. Balance with a returning Kobe Bryant who's going to get you 25 a game.
Labeled tough and talented, Julius Randle was compared to NBA All-Star Zach Randolph, a player known for his tenacious rebounding and double-double dominance, but not necessarily known for his shooting ability. The Lakers organization already had a team equipped with a prolific scorer in future Hall of Famer Kobe Bryant. So drafting Randle, a bruiser who rebounds, scores in the paint, and makes the game simple, was a no-brainer. The Lakers projected that Julius Randle would eventually be an all-star in this league. It wouldn't take long for Julius to be met with the type of adversity and setbacks that would ultimately equip him for overcoming difficult moments and adversity throughout his career.
Breaking news here out of Los Angeles for LakersNation.com. I'm Serena Winters. Lakers number 7 draft pick Julius Randle suffered a fractured tibia in his right leg during the fourth quarter of the Lakers opener here against the Houston Rockets. Right now, he's actually at the hospital. It is not known yet whether or not he will need surgery.
Suffering a broken leg in his very first game, in his very first minutes played, the worst thing that could happen to the 19-year-old projected All-Star did. Collective prayers went up for the number 7 overall pick, and everyone would be left to wonder, is this player injury prone? Will he heal and fully recover from this injury? How will this setback impact the young player psychologically? What would help Julius successfully answer all of those questions would be the words of his newest teammate, and the person he feared he would disappoint the most, Kobe Bryant.
You train extremely hard and something like this happens, right? So you kind of got to give yourself up to that and just control what you can control. And, what happens, happens. And now it's on him to control how he handles this.
Is that something you've been able to do for yourself, to be able to give that?
Yeah, I mean, it's something that you learn that you have to do it. Sometimes life circumstances put you in a position where you have no choice but to handle it that way. Julius is not going to have a choice. We're not going to let him get down about this. Right? He's going to come back stronger.
Julius would fully recover and would credit the Laker legend for supporting him through that tough time. He would state that there were words of support that he carries with him to this very day.
Kobe, when you look at Randle and the way he's affecting the games, what are you most impressed with?
His overall skill. I mean, he can do everything. He can rebound, he can post, he can push the ball, he can pass, he can do everything.
I know how you like to work with young players and encourage them to do. What specifically are you telling him?
Well, I mean, just to continue to read the floor. I mean, just just reading the defense and kind of the ebb and flows of the game. But he picks that up naturally.
Julius Randle will go on to develop into a really good young player with the Los Angeles Lakers. Approaching his restricted free agency period, a 23-year-old Julius Randle would average per 36 minutes 21.7 points per game, 5.6 rebounds per game, 3.5 assists per game, and 56, 22, 72 shooting splits. Numbers that were comparable at that time to a 28-year-old in his prime, Paul George. Approaching that free agency period, it was rumored that Julius Randle had made it clear that he had no longer wanted to play in the Los Angeles Lakers uniform. His request may have been due to the team not extending an offer to him in a timely fashion. This period of time also coincided with rumors that LeBron James was interested in joining the Los Angeles Lakers team. To Julius, he was excited to potentially play with a player of LeBron James's stature, but he couldn't help but feel with all that he had overcome and all that he had produced for the Los Angeles Lakers, he was disappointed to feel that he wasn't a priority. After the Lakers found out that they would be receiving LeBron James in free agency, they began putting in motion pieces that they thought would fit best in complementing LeBron James's game. It was apparent that the Los Angeles Lakers were not prioritizing Julius Randle. Therefore, Julius Randle would choose to accept the offer presented to him by the New Orleans Pelicans. Randle would be joining Elfrid Payton as a free agent signing and joining a team with Anthony Davis and Nikola Mirotic, who were coming off of making exciting strides towards a playoff run. During Julius's short time with New Orleans, the team didn't perform as well as he would have liked, but Julius had enjoyed the most success he had experienced as a professional basketball player. His numbers put him in contention for NBA Most Improved Player that season. He would now be faced with another career decision as he went into the NBA offseason as an unrestricted free agent. With the sudden decision of the Pelicans franchise to trade all-star power forward Anthony Davis to the Lakers, Julius focused on keeping all of his options open for the future. The New York Knicks, a team with a rabid and loyal fan base, an organization rich with history, being one of the original NBA teams, and a team that tasted championship champagne in the 70s and one that fiercely competed for titles in the 90s. Knicks fans have been yearning to regain respectability in the basketball world, but have been unable to do so with the team's chronically poor performances. The team had recently been forced to part ways with a homegrown all-star player, Kristaps Porzingis, and had also traded away NBA legend Carmelo Anthony. The problem with the organization had been its selling to its fans and the world the acquisition of massive names, but have never been able to deliver them to the New York Knicks fan base. With the increased impact of the internet, social media, and NBA stars choosing to team up instead of compete against each other, teams found increasing difficulty for an organization alone to determine how to recruit and secure NBA free agents. During this particular free agency period, Julius Randle was one of the many talents that teams had been planning to recruit, but unfortunately, the biggest fish of free agency that year were Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. For years, the New York Knicks have kept their eyes on Kevin Durant's free agency plans. Over recent months, leading to this free agency period, rumors began to spring about of Kevin Durant's desire to move on from the Golden State Warriors organization to create his own legacy in the bright lights of New York City. Media pundits would revel in the rumors, creating segments and flooding social media with quotes from insiders, thus further deepening the expectation of a hungry fan base, knowing that the outcome would be fruitful for media outlets either way. If Kevin Durant goes to the Knicks, are the Knicks instant contenders? Would he go alone? Would he revive the city? Would he have enough to win? If he decides not to go, then the Knicks have failed to get another free agent. It would continue to be considered a poverty franchise who are relegated to losing ways. The Knicks will continue to be the NBA laughingstock. The worst nightmare of Knicks fans would soon materialize. Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving would decide to join the Brooklyn Nets across town. The New York Knicks fans were devastated. The media exploded. And the worst thing that could happen to any free agents the New York Knicks would decide to sign had just happened. Their level of expectation to match what the Nets had done had been bumped up to astronomical levels. Media outlets had a blast creating stories and content surrounding New York's failures to entice yet another superstar to Madison Square Garden. Knicks fans can't forget Max Kellerman on ESPN holding up a faux Randle jersey on First Take, or Stephen A. Smith appearing to be an animated caricature of Knicks fans in his disappointment to the show's host at that time, Rachel Nichols, as she condescendingly provided her take on the free agent signings. Lastly, ESPN's Richard Jefferson took full advantage, understandably, but annoyingly just the same, of his opportunity to boast about the good fortunes of his affiliated franchise and the misfortunes of his former rivals. Nevertheless, Julius Randle signs with the New York Knicks on a 3-year, $63 million deal. This was a pretty affordable signing and under most conditions, considered a solid organizational signing of a talented young building block for the New York Knicks. In a market like New York, perception is always reality. An overwhelming perception in media was that Randle was not Durant. So in this particular case, the media would have fans believe that it should be an organizational failure of a signing. Thankfully, that wasn't the case. Indeed, Randle's 3.5 years in New York have been wild, with the peaks and valleys similar to the varying sizes of skyscrapers in New York City. He was good in the COVID-shortened 2019-2020 season, his first in New York. He would step into greatness territory in his second season, earning an all-star spot, his first, an all-NBA nod, also his first, while adding the NBA's Most Improved Player award to his trophy shelf. anointed King of New York by legendary rapper Fat Joe, Julius Randle was riding high in NYC. It appeared that that high would not last long. Entering last season, Julius would be awarded a new contract extension, providing security for him and his family and a vote of confidence from the organization. The front office would make moves that removed many of the veterans that were integral to the success of the previous year and replaced them with two veterans who were more offensive-minded versus the defensive-minded veterans that were here prior. Julius would see his numbers last season, 20.1 points, 9.9 rebounds, remain solid, but his shooting percentages would drop. The team would struggle. And during one particular rough stretch last January, Randle let his frustrations with Knicks fans' frustrations be known by delivering a now infamous thumbs down gesture to the Knicks fan base in attendance. This proved to be a fracturing moment between the All-Star and the New York Knicks fan base. Entering this 2022-2023 season, many speculated that Knicks fans and Julius Randle alike would have been content with amicably parting ways.
Oh, say less.
The feeling that both sides could use a fresh start, but the New York Knicks front office had other ideas. Almost like a parent refereeing warring children, Leon Rose and company continued to speak with the Knicks star power forward. They would acquire a few important pieces in free agency and implored that the team self-corrects, comes together as a unit, and focuses on their goals for the upcoming season.
When things are going well, we got to sit together. When things are going bad, we got to sit together. That's what makes this team great. We got to sit together and through the thick and thin, and we'll be all right.
With the team settled in on who would be the final roster members entering this season, team building, trust, and open communication was the order of the day. There were new faces and a new attitude entering the regular season. The New York Knicks didn't land the huge fish in Donovan Mitchell, but for them, they were able to land their primary target, an ever-elusive positional game changer in talented point guard Jalen Brunson, who would ultimately serve as the remedy to many of the team's ills, particularly Julius Randle's. Fast forward to present day. In the month of January 2023, the New York Knicks would complete a dominant victory over the highly talented Phoenix Suns in Madison Square Garden. And something alarming began to take place. Something out of the ordinary, at least for the last year or so. Julius Randle heard it. How couldn't he? Late in the fourth quarter of the Knicks' win over Phoenix early January, with Randle at the free throw line, completing a 28-point night, an MVP chant cascaded down from the rafters. For any player, it's flattering. For Julius Randle, who a year ago was hearing something a lot different, it meant more.
For the last month, Julius, you've been playing the best basketball of your entire career. I know that's exhausting, but also, what has been the most enjoyable part to you about this stretch?
Playing in front of the fans in the Garden, man. It's a love. I love it.
Thanks.
For the man who had dedicated himself to fixing many of the areas of improvement he had heard about from fans, from coaches, from teammates, and critics alike. The sulking, the selfishness, the poor body language, the outward frustration towards referees, opponents, teammates, coaches, and fans. Julius understood and admitted to feeling as if he had the pressure of carrying the load of expectations and success all by himself. He discovered that his team trusted him now and that he could trust his team to help him carry this load, to have his back. And that if he worked towards improving those areas, he would see tangible results. To be in this together, to reach the ultimate goal of winning on the brightest stage, in the biggest city, in the mecca of basketball. Well, here he was, being serenaded with MVP chants from an unlikely source. That last family member that he needed to reconcile with. Both stubborn and slow to admit fault in the situation, but both looking for a reason to make things right and let bygones be bygones. Julius's corrections and his focused play was him holding up his end of the bargain, his silent apology, the reverberating chants of MVP, MVP, unmistakably aimed at the man shooting free throws at the foul line, was the Knicks fans' way of apologizing. Their opportunity to make things right and let bygones be bygones. How did Julius feel about this gesture? Said Randle, "It's good to be on the good side of the garden." There is currently a positive, uplifting energy surrounding this team, this fan base, and this organization.
Hey, the vibe is great, man. The vibe is immaculate, man. Overtime, big dub, found a way to get it done.
A newfound winning energy, a unifying energy that seems to be growing stronger every day. An energy that seems unbreakable. Unbreakable. Just like its star power forward, Julius Randle.
New York, we here. We're going as a team.
Victory. I just got another victory. Opposition say they sick of me. We turn their future to history. They try to hit me, they missing me. Ooh, they in the way. They getting stepped on back in the day. We who they slept.